Hi guys, I hope you're all really well. Today I'm going to be doing a quick haul for you. There's been a kind of like a bit of a change in the YouTube community recently, especially the booktube community, where people are saying they don't like watching hauls, or they want to make more exciting content instead of just churning out the same like to be read hauls and stuff. But I really enjoy filming hauls and I really love watching people's hauls as well, so I'm not going to stop doing them because I really enjoy doing them. And I hope you enjoy watching them too. Today's just going to be a pretty short one. I haven't got too much to show you, but I just wanted to show you what I've got recently and kind of talk a little bit about some of them, because some of them I'm really excited about. So I thought I'd start off with the two Christmassy books I've got. There's so many Christmassy books around at the moment, which is kind of daunting because I still haven't finished some Christmas books from like 2 years ago, which is kind of embarrassing. But there are two books that I've got this year that I'm really excited for. The first one is How to Stuff Up Christmas by Rosie Blake. I have read Rosie's first novel and I have to say it was called How to Get a Love Life, and I have to say I didn't love it. There are a few elements of it that kind of didn't work for me. It felt a little bit like it needed a few more edits. There are a few inconsistencies in the plot, and when the kind of main characters fall in love, I was quite shocked because I didn't sense any chemistry between them at all. So I was really hoping that this one would be a little bit more polished, and because I mean the first one showed a lot of promise. It was, you know, it could have been amazing, but it was just okay. But this one I'm really hoping is going to be a lot better. I'm on chapter 11. I'm 54 pages in so far, and actually it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. The thing with Rosie's writing though is that a lot of it is a lot of the plot is very dialogue led, so a lot of what happens is dialogue between characters, and I mean the first page starts off with dialogue, and that did throw me for a minute because I had to try and work out who was the one that was speaking, so it was kind of a little bit confusing to begin with. But after I got through that, I'm really enjoying it so far. It's basically about a woman called Eve who finds out her husband or her partner was cheating on her, and she kind of decides that she doesn't want to spend Christmas at home because that kind of reminds her of that relationship, so she wants to get away. And that's how far I've got through the plot so far. At the moment she's just deciding where she wants to go to spend Christmas. So yeah, that's a really good one, and I love the cover as well. I think it's super gorgeous. The second Christmas book I've got is one that I'm equally excited about. It's called A Christmas Tale, and this was written by a very lovely person, and she's a very good friend as well, called Now this is really embarrassing because I'm really bad at pronouncing her name, but it's Cressida McLaughlin, I think. McLaughlin? And Cressy is just a lovely person, and she wrote a story that kind of got her noticed in the Sunlounger anthology, which is kind of a yearly anthology that's kind of an amalgamation of lots of chick lit authors writing very cute and funny romantic stories for summer. And she kind of got noticed through that, and HarperCollins signed her up to write a novel, and she wrote a series of ebooks. It's kind of like a novel that was serialised, and I don't know if I've discussed what they are before, but basically a serialised novel is a novel that's divided into different like small novellas. So this one here was 4 novellas that were published over a period of kind of a few months, and the idea of that is, I think, to kind of encourage people to read them all. I'm not quite sure actually why publishers wanted to do that. I personally don't enjoy doing it that way at all. I find it really frustrating because I just want to read it all in one go. I don't want to have to wait like a month for the next part, because by the time the month comes around I've read so many books in between that I've forgotten what happened in the first part. So personally I don't enjoy reading them like that, but I know that they do seem to be popular with some readers, so I mean if it works then it works, but I love it when they all come bound up together in a bound up copy, and this is the 4 novellas bound into one, and it's called A Christmas Tale, Walkies in a Winter Wonderland, and I think the cover is so beautiful too, and the spine is super cute, and the back is even beautiful as well. And this basically tells a story of, I've read the first novella, which was called Wellies and Westies, and that started off the story about this woman called Kat who loses her job, and she decides that she wants to become a dog walker, and it kind of talks about all like the people that live by her and who she lives with, and a little bit of a relationship kind of thing going on. And I'm sorry if you can hear a funny noise, but I live in the attic, or I have my bedroom's in the attic, and there are pigeons that like to sit on the roof, so they claw a lot. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, Kat decides that she wants to like start this new business, and that's as far as I got really. I didn't read the Sunshine and Spaniels, Raincoats and Retrievers or Tinsel and Terriers, because I just kind of wanted to wait until they all got bound together. So I read the first one. I really enjoyed the first little extract, or the first little story. I'm not quite sure how it's been done in this book. I don't know if it just follows on from chapter to chapter rather than has been, oh no, it has been, so it has been divided into the individual ebooks, but it follows on continuing the chapters, so it kind of goes from chapter 7 to chapter 8 rather than going like first story, second story. So yeah, I'm really excited to actually finish reading this and to actually be able to get through it in one go. So yeah, that's A Christmas Tale, and I'm super excited for that one. The next book I got sent was unsolicited, which means I didn't ask for it and the publishers didn't ask me before they sent it, but it's called Learning to Speak American by Colette Dartford, and I was sent a little note with it, and it said that the publishers are really excited about this. It's first published in ebook in November and then paperback next year. It's a debut novel set in California, and it's based on the author's experience of buying and renovating a house in America. It's a warm and witty tale of second chances, learning to love again, and most importantly, wine. So it's basically about a couple who whose daughter dies, and they have one last chance to save their marriage, so they restore this derelict house in the Napa Valley. But when the husband's life begins to fall apart and the wife finally begins to come together again, can they learn to still love each other? So it sounds like an interesting read. I mean, I've never heard of it until it got sent to me, so I'm not quite sure what it's going to be like. And obviously this is a debut, so I don't know what the author's writing style is like, but it seems quite exciting. I mean, the premise sounds good, and I quite like the cover as well, so I'm interested to see how that one goes. So thank you to Midas Public Relations for sending me that one. The next book that I got sent is one that I'm really super excited about, and it is According to Yes by Dawn French. Now, I was contacted about receiving a copy of this quite a while ago, and I was like, yes, please, I really want to read it. And they sent me a copy and it never arrived, so I recently got in touch and I was like, I just wanted to check, did you send me a copy, or has there been a delay because I haven't got it? And they're like, oh no, I'm really sorry, you should have got it. So they sent me another copy and it finally arrived, and this I think has already been published. Yeah, it came out on the 22nd of October, so just last week it came out. And I loved Dawn's first novel, but I didn't like her second at all. I don't know what it was about the second one, I just didn't connect with it at all, but I'm really hoping that this one is going to be much better, and I've already read 28 pages so far. I'm on chapter 3? Oh, I don't know, the chapters aren't numbered, they're just named. And this tells the story of a woman who gives up her life in England to move across to America to become a nanny for a very rich and wealthy family, and it's kind of like the story of the two worlds merging. So a woman who is very English, very kind of out there and eccentric, goes and lives with a very kind of tight-knit, very stony-faced, rich family, and it's kind of how they, I guess what they learn from each other, I suppose. I'm not quite too sure what else happens in the plot, but what I've read so far is very good. It's quite witty, very funny. Dawn French's writing style is very interesting. It's quite easy to read. Some nice descriptions, but I don't know, like her Dawn's sense of humour, it doesn't seem like Dawn's sense of humour. It's really weird. It kind of feels like it's a very kind of different sense of humour to what I'm used to from her, which is odd, but I am enjoying it, and what I've read so far is good, so hopefully the rest of the book lives up to the hype of what people have been saying so far. So that is that one. And then the final book I've got to show you is the one I'm most excited about. This is a book that I've seen talked about on so many people's Twitter feeds, and it's like everyone's just raving about it, and it has been pegged as, oh, I hate it when they do this, but it's been pegged as the next girl on the train. It's going to be like the next best thriller, and it is published next year, and it's the publisher, it's their lead thriller for the year. It's already been optioned for a TV, like turned into a TV programme. It's going to be published in 28 territories around the world and counting. And the bookseller, the magazine, who are kind of at the forefront of book selling, have said that it's their editor's choice for January 2016. And it is The Widow by Fiona Barton. I don't know if you can, there we go, there's the proof cover is a little bit different to the actual final cover, but this looks incredible. It's a psychological thriller, and I absolutely love thrillers and kind of just that whole genre. I read them so much, and it kind of gets to the point where sometimes a lot of them are very similar. There's either kind of like a child goes missing, or someone gets killed and it's like finding out who murdered them, or someone gets kidnapped or something like that. And whilst I love that whole kind of genre and that style, sometimes it gets a bit samey. So when I heard about this really kind of excited me, because it tells the story of the woman behind everything. So the way that the author has done this, she's written a note, and it's about how the author has spent a lot of time watching people, but the thing that she kind of has found in her time of being a journalist and watching people is that the person that is always kind of ignored, or the person who never gets to speak their voice, is the wife of the man in the dock. And you know, she said, "You will have seen her too on the news. You may have to look carefully, but she's there, standing quietly behind her man on the court steps. She nods and squeezes his arm as he protests his innocence because she believes in him." But what happens when the cameras are packed away and the world stops watching? I have an enduring image of two people eating shepherd's pie like any other couple in their street, but unable to speak. The only sound is a scrape of cutlery on china as they struggle with the doubt seeping under their suburban front door, because without witnesses or distractions, masks cannot help but slip. I needed to know how this woman copes with the idea that her husband, the man she chose, may be a monster. And Jean Taylor emerged. She is the quiet woman I have seen so often on the steps of the court, the wife I have spotted watching expressionless as her husband gives evidence. In this, my first novel, Jean tells her public and private versions of an adored husband and happy marriage turned upside down when a child vanishes and the police and press arrive on her doorstep. I hope you enjoy this book. I have loved writing it, and I can't thank Jean Taylor and the woman who inspired her enough. So basically, it's a story of a woman called Jean Taylor, whose life was blissfully ordinary. Nice house, nice husband. Glenn was all she'd ever wanted, her Prince Charming, but then everything changed. The newspapers found a new name for Glenn. Monster, they shrieked. Jean was married to a man accused of the unimaginable, and as the years ticked by with no sign of the little girl he had been accused of taking, their life was constantly splashed across the front pages. But now Glenn is dead and she's alone for the first time, free to tell her story on her own terms. Jean Taylor is going to tell us what she knows, and I just think that sounds amazing. I don't think I've ever read a thriller that's at all similar in premise or themes before. A lot of the time it focuses on the victim and it focuses on kind of what happens to them and their lives, but it never really focuses on the kind of people that are in the background, the boyfriends, the girlfriends, the lovers, the wives, the husbands, the mothers, the daughters of the people that get accused. And I just think it sounds incredible, and I can see why this might be a really good thriller, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. Like I say, it's not out until January 2016, so there's a little while to go, but I cannot wait to read this. So thank you so much to Ben Willis at Transworld for sending me this. I literally I can't wait to dive into it. I'm going to start it tonight, so thank you for that. So that is a very quick book haul of all the books I've got recently from publishers. I cannot thank them enough for constantly sending me books. It's so lovely of them and so kind, and yeah, I just can't wait to read these, and I will probably put some reviews up on my blog, and I might do some reviews on here as well. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!